My assumption at the start of this module, Leading Learning, was that a degree in education, professional and technical skills, and organizational experience were sufficient to be an effective leader. We discussed the distinctions between management and leadership in the first teaching lecture. I was previously ignorant of the distinctions between these two words. Nevertheless, due to their similarities, I always thought they meant the same thing.
There has been some criticism from some researchers on the benefits of bilingual education. Baker noted that proficiency in one language improves on one side of a scale, and proficiency in the other language declines on the opposite side. Bilingual students with proficiency in English struggled with English language instructions, literacy, and school performance in the regular classroom.
I will be able to source for the right material necessary to answer my question and complete my dissertation through flexibility, having carried out secondary qualitative research. To conclude, being proactive, reflective, investing time and energy in my personal and professional development, and model self-directed learning is my watchword.
My current state in the PPF model is transitioning into the follow-through phase, where the plans laid during the planning phase are executed. The concept of self-efficacy, as described by Bandura's social cognitive theory, plays a crucial role here. My current focus is on bolstering self-efficacy, the belief in my capability to execute actions successfully, which is vital for transitioning plans into tangible outcomes. We are trying to understand the locomotion of one of our closest living relatives, which is the orangutan, and also the locomotion of all of the apes and the common ancestor of humans and the other apes. And in that area, we have had a big problem traditionally, and that we know a lot about how they move around the forest. I've been out to the forest and spent a year recording the different types of locomotion they use, but we have no idea about the energetic cost of how they move around the forest and the solutions that they find to problems of moving around the canopy.
For many years, the favorite horror story about abrupt climate change was that a shift in ocean currents could radically cool Europe's climate. These currents, called the overturning circulation, bring warm water and warm temperatures north from the equator to Europe. Susan Lozier, an oceanographer at Duke University, says scientists have long worried that this ocean circulation could be disrupted.
It is important to repeat the distinction between teaching a language and teaching through a language. Language acquisition in bilingual immersion, heritage and dual language bilingual programs is mostly through a second language being used as a medium of instruction. Another danger is that the mother tongue is used by the bilingual assistant mainly for discipline and control but not for content learning, sending the wrong message about language use and function. Conversely, in teacher-centered and lecture-dominant classrooms, the bilingual assistant may not be able to provide much help beyond looking over the student's shoulders, pointing to things in their books and on their worksheets, and occasionally whispering a bit to the students in their home language so as not to interrupt the teacher or disturb the rest of the class.
Another suggestion for adapting the notion of creativity to suit young children is to put the emphasis on the creative process, rather than to judge the quality of the products. This is because young children may not have developed all the skills they need to achieve a successful creative outcome.
Definitions of creativity are not straightforward, and many writers have contributed to the debate about what constitutes creativity, often hotly contesting different views. However, most theorists agree that the creative process involves a number of components.
Every child deserves the right to an education without prejudice. Nonetheless, the question is whether bilingual education provides children with an equitable education. Are minority students taught as effectively as their counterparts in English-only classrooms? It is crucial to determine if bilingual school students receive the same curricular content as other students, as this significantly impacts their performance. For the first time, Japanese researchers have conducted a real-life experiment that shows how some traffic jams appear for no apparent reason. They placed the 22 vehicles on a single track, and asked the drivers cruise around at a constant speed of 30 km an hour. At first, traffic moves smoothly, but soon, the distance between cars started to vary and vehicles clumped together at one point on the track, but the jams spread backward around the track, like a shockwave at a rate of about 20 km an hour. Real-life jams move backward at about the same speed.
Green chemistry is a concept designed to develop technologies which allow chemistry to be practiced with minimal damage to the environment or in an environmentally compatible way. And it's meant to cover both chemical processes and chemical products. The center, if you would, set up about 7 or 8 years ago, and the idea was to provide a hub of activities that covered fundamental research work, industrial collaboration, but also educational developments. So we work with schools and on public understanding projects as well, and also networking. So we network out to well over 1,000 people around the globe.
Dogs aren't just man's best friend. Previous studies have shown that kids with dogs are less likely to develop asthma. Now a new study may show how, if results from mice apply to us. The work was presented at a meeting of the American Society for Microbiology. The study tests what's called the hygiene hypothesis. The idea is that extreme cleanliness may actually promote disease later on. Researchers collected dust from homes that had a dog. They fed that house dust to mice. They then infected the mice with a common childhood infection called respiratory syncytial virus, or RSV.
In animals, a movement is coordinated by a cluster of neurons in the spinal cord called the central contract patterns generator, CPG. This produces signals that drive muscles to contract rhythmically in a way that produces running or walking, depending on the pattern of pulses. A simple signal from the brain instructs the CPG to switch between different modes such as going from a standstill to walking.